Good evening, Belizeans at home and abroad. My name is Leonard Brackett. I'll be the chairman for tonight's program. And we have Mr. Wade with us right now. And Gregory is somewhere working on something else, but he'll probably join us at his convenience. For tonight, we promised you some fire and brimstone last Wednesday. But since then, and then till now, some of them brimstone got kind of like one little water choke on it, no, because the bun as hot as in the bun last Wednesday. So I hope we not
Yeah,
disappoint.
last Wednesday was
But
very hot. Yeah.
yeah, but nevertheless, before we get into the show, just get rid of the formalities now. And part of the formalities is that we have a reading, and we have a prayer, and then we have a reading. Uh, Mr. Wade going to give us the prayer first, and then after he finished the prayer, then I'll just do a short reading. Proverbs, one of the common proverbs. But for right now, I'll just like to bow my head so Mr. Wade could grace us with his prayer.
Thank you. Thank you, Leonard. It's always a pleasure to be in your company. And like you said, that Greg will be joining us in a little bit. And I'll proceed with the prayers. And for our viewers and listeners, both at home and abroad, I will not disclose my location, but I'm at an undisclosed location at the time, not at my regular seat, but God gave me
Mr. Wade,
that grace and
Mr.
power
Wade,
to be here tonight.
Mr. Wade, when you say that,
Yes.
you're giving people the impression that you're on a special mission. As if we are not always on a
Uh,
special mission every day, 24/7, right?
exactly.
Okay,
So
so
let's proceed with a prayer. Please bow your head, Leonard, and let us proceed with the prayer. Almighty and eternal God, we come to you tonight with our 119th edition of Belizean Affairs.
amen.
Please, Lord God, give us the wisdom to continue to do and to stay right. Be the voice for the poor and less fortunate, and for those who, for some reason, cannot speak out, although they know the ills, but for some reason they cannot speak out. So we ask graciously to continue to give us that fortitude, that grace to do and to say right and be a defender of the poor and less fortunate in this country.
Amen.
And Lord God Almighty, we ask that you put some love into our elected leaders, to do and to say right by people and nation and stop the line that is what's killing this country, right? Please give them some wisdom to
Amen.
stop the line and to do right by people. All people, not only a few.
Amen.
Lord God Almighty, please bless this show and give us the understanding and the will to continue to do what we do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you very much for that gracious prayer, Mr. Wade. And we just like to proceed with a short reading. I'll read a. I don't want to go to it. I read that last week. Let's continue. Proverbs chapter 19, verse 1 reads as follows: Better is the poor that walketh in his integrity than he that is perverse in his lips and is a fool. Also, that the soul be without knowledge. It is not good. And he that hasteth with his feet sinneth. The foolishness of man perverted his ways, and his heart fret against the Lord. Wealth make many friends, but the poor is separated from his neighbor. Amen.
Amen.
Uh, Mr. Wade, do you have a
Yes.
short comment that you can make? So while I launch this extra little piece of stuff here quickly, if you would mind, please.
Yes, 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 Leonard. My people, and nation, um, we are, in some very serious times in this country, right? Despite our leaders are saying that everything is good, unemployment now they say that it's at 3.4, right? I mean, Carly, I don't know, where these guys are living, right? I'm surely not here in Belize, right? To be saying that kind of crap, right? I mean, when we all know that unemployment in this country is more than 3.4% that they're talking about. And if you notice that every time this prime minister come to the nation and the world, right, spewing out this venom, right, that he has this country the best that it has ever been, right? And unemployment, every time he come to the media, the unemployment goes down, right? Goes down and down and down, right? I mean, lies, right? Man, and in this country, we have a lot of, as I speak, we have people going to bed without eating in this country, right? And for this man and he talk about the jobs he created. Damn lie, right? The jobs that are created in this country is by the the uh
BPO,
B, B- the
BPOs and private industry.
BPOs, yes,
Yeah.
yes, the BPOs. They are the one that's creating job in this country, right? And then the past foreign minister, the Courtney guy, he audacity to say, well, like, all the most of the students and we go study, they don't want to come back to Belize, right? Man, I applaud the students and when they want to come back to Belize. When they come back and do no job, right? So he vexed. He said that shouldn't happen, right? That students should come back. Well, man, I encourage all when they go on a study, stay out there, earn some good money, get good jobs that they will not get in this country, right? And then they want to know why the crime rate is so high in this country, right? And they just not get it. Why it's so high? Never, Leonard, never you hear any one of these guys get up, the House of Representatives and say, you know what? We're going and we're going to beg from the diaspora or beg from another country for industry, one factory, something, one canning factory,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where they could create employment. But why? They don't have nothing to gain. They don't have nothing to gain. So that would have never happened. And yet they want to know why the crime rate is so high in this country, right? But sad situation around and such a big mandate. They say, oh, they win, the PUP win, big mandate, last election, big mandate, right? I mean, come on. Yes, big mandate, yes, well, do something then.
Mm-hmm.
Do something for the people. Show the people that you appreciate that they vote for you, right? But it's the same stuff over and over, Leonard, and I blame it on the people of this country, man, right? This two-party system has to go, right? I mean, one kick the ball down the road, the other one come pick it up, kick it a little farther, I mean, it's just a never-ending cycle. We need a new system in this country. And God forbid, they get what they want in terms of turning Belize into a republic.
It's gonna be worse.
Let them do it.
It's gonna be
Let them
worse.
do it, Leonard. Because the next president that the people will elect in a republic style election, they will hold them accountable. Even if they're 90, 80, 100, some president will come and hold these people accountable and charge them for the crimes they have committed to the people in this nation and take away everything that they have gotten illegal, right? Everything that they have gotten illegal, whether it's money, land, assets, anything that they have gotten illegal, right? So they might stand accountable in front of a tribunal, right? So they better be careful what they're advocating for and want to turn Belize into a republic, right? So these are things that very troublesome, Leonard. And don't forget that we have the ICJ over our head, right?
Mhm.
And in the ICJ there has to be a winner and a loser, right? Who knows? Maybe Guatemala get half a Belize, or maybe get none, but they will get something, right?
Well,
So that's
they're
still
gonna take
over
the
our head. So anyway, I'll pass it back over
Sarsuna
to
Island
you,
already.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead.
They take the Sarsuna Island already, Mr. Wade. I know that
Yeah,
they try to
man.
stop it from then they try to stop it from navigating at the river. And then got for them people to dig out the river and make it deeper from we side so that we
Exactly.
can't claim now that the Sarsuna Island is on the side where the shallowest part there. Because once they
Yeah,
continue to dig out that thing, they could always turn around and
my
say, well,
brother,
go ahead, sir.
my brother. When the British was here, that never made it happen. I had
Mm-hmm.
in my time serving this country, I had patrolled the Sarsoon with no hindrance, along
Mm-hmm.
with the British. No hindrance. These people respected. But since the British left this country, everything went haywire, right? That's for a fact, and that's they could do that research, right?
Thank you very much, sir.
Now
Well,
every month there's something happening in the Sarsoon. They're flexing their muscles. Every time you turn around, they're flexing their muscles, right?
they want to get
Anyway,
us into a confrontation.
exactly, exactly. So you know, back to you there, Mr. Chairman. See what
Yes,
you
sir.
have.
Thank you very much, sir. Well,
You know,
I just want to go find this thing. I want to read something here from the Constitution before I kick off, before I start rambling. Huh? Just a couple seconds more. Here we go. Okay. Now, then I want to go to 6. It's 5. Okay. I want to go to the Constitution of Belize. Uh, Cap 4, uh, Part 2, Subsection 6 reads as follows. Just a second. Let me turn this off so I could. Okay. A little too big. Section 6, Subsection 1 reads as follows. All persons are equal before the law and are entitled without any discrimination to the equal protection of the law. If any person is charged with a criminal offense, then, unless the charge is withdrawn, the case shall be afforded a fair hearing within a reasonable time by an independent and impartial court established by law. It says we're all equal under the law.
Amen to that.
I want to go and read another little part here because I'm going to be making reference to them.
A lot of people do not know their rights, Leonard.
This one is subsection 4. A person shall not be held to be guilty of a criminal offense on account of any act or omission that did not, at the time it took place, constituted such an offense, and no penalty shall be imposed for any criminal offense that is severer in degree or description than the maximum penalty that might have been imposed for that offense at the time when it was committed. In other words, if a presumed offense is not stipulated in law, then the government has no right to impose and or to go retrospectively and impose that penalty on whoever that person might be as the offending party or person. I'll get to all these. I'm reading them because, like I said, they're going to overlap. Protection from inhumane treatment. Section 7. No person shall be subjected to torture or to inhumane or degrading punishment or other such treatment. Section 8.1. No person shall be held in slavery or servitude, that is, to be worked and not be given due compensation, or to have worked under a promise that a settlement will give them their due compensation, and or no person should be worked with the expectation of getting something that the court orders they're entitled to, and that the government would like to go back against what the court says and renegotiate with whoever the individuals are to try and reduce what they're supposed to get. That's contrary to the Constitution. And on that particular point, I want to refer specifically
The stevedores.
the stevedores, right?
Exactly.
The Prime Minister so-called, or at least according to him, say when he believe in something, he not care what nobody else say, and his arrogance then takes over, and he doesn't check with the Constitution. He doesn't seek proper advice, and if he does
Yeah.
seek proper advice, and the advice that he's getting is contrary to the Constitution, I'm almost certain that he may not know the difference, but that whatever he then advocates or espouses, because he likes to open his mouth and speak the things off the cuff of his sleeve, and then contradicts what the Constitution says. We are glad that he's making an effort after we holler so much and so loud about trying to make sure that they settle with these people and getting them money after so many years pass by. I know that we have the port under all governance control, that all governments should not be penalizing and or trying to take advantage of we population, of we people, because the Constitution says that's not supposed to happen. Nobody's supposed to work under no situation where they are promised to be paid and instead they don't get the pay, and if they get the pay, they're only given one part of it and being denied the rest of it, and or they have to settle for whatever little amount they could get in order to get that little amount instead of not get nothing at all. So the Prime Minister went back on the tribunal's award of some 4 point something million dollars, almost $5 million, to the
4.8.
stevedores.
Oh my God.
4.8. Okay. To the stevedores, and now he's trying to bamboozle them and pressure them further. And if they want any more than what he offer them, they want to continue to find money for lawyers to fight against the government. We have lawyers on staff, and we have on deep pocket. In other words, you put them through the same ringer when Mr. Ashcroft made to put them through. Of
Exactly.
course, the same manager that manages the port under Mr. Ashcroft and no under Belize government. That of itself is a treachery.
Exactly.
We know the history of this gentleman and his attitude towards the stevedores, and that's the person that the Prime Minister is going to put there to continue dealing with the stevedores. That is to say then that he has no respect or regards or consideration for them and or their well-being. He has no, okay, how the hell can a tribunal award legally $4.8 million, almost $5 million, like I was saying before, to the stevedores, and the Prime Minister going to bamboozle them to accept 1,400,000 or 1,500,000 or whatever the number is.
1.4, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
That is like 1/3.
Sad, man.
That is like 1/3. You want to browbeat the people, and you want to connive and he dispossess them of 2/3 of their money, and they only could get 1/3 if they're willing to agree to accept that.
But Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir,
just don't forget, that the court had already awarded the stevedores of that lump sum of money, right?
And yet the Prime Minister
not
will say,
1.5, right?
Right. Go ahead.
No, not 1.5. So, I mean, like I said on the last show, I blame it on the stevedores to accept something that the court had already awarded them of $4.8 million. Why in the world will they go and sit with this jackass, right? And accept 1 point something million? What is wrong with our brothers?
They're desperate, right? Mr. Wade.
Damn.
This fight has been going on.
That's the thing that gets me, right?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Mr. Chairman. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah. They're in a rock and a hard place because it's not just yesterday or a month ago or a year ago. It's year on top of year on top of year. And the present government have at least another year and a half to go before the next election is due. Unless they're willing to call it early, which is what I'm speculating they might want to do anyhow. The bottom line is, regardless of who is in government, these are our own people. Why do the government think that they have a right to renegotiate these people's the award?
That's my point, right? That's my point. Mr. Chairman, they have no respect. Mr. Chairman, they have no respect for the ruling of any court in this country, right? And that's not the only case that they bamboozle while the court award and then they say no or they're not going to do it. That's disrespecting the court.
So when I call them rogue, am I not rogue then in order?
You're right in order, Mr. Chairman.
When I call them a bunch of mafia operating as if they were a duly elected government, which they are duly elected, but not acting as a government, using the position of governance and the powers of governance to act in a cancerous and malicious way as a bunch of mobsters. That's what mobsters do. The court says something and the mobster then go and put pressure on the people then and turn around and renegotiate and to hell with the court. And then the people they are put under pressure and they have to accept whatever they want to throw out of them.
But so Mr. Chairman,
I'm glad
if I may.
Go ahead, Mr. Wade. Go ahead, sir.
If I may, these people are already accustomed to bamboozle the poor people, right? because they know damn well that the stevedores don't have the money to take them to court, or
Mhm.
whoever they do this malicious act against don't have the money to challenge them through the courts, right?
Mhm.
That's why they continue to do these things, right? They know damn well that the poor people can't afford attorney. They can't
Mhm.
afford best representation. So they get away with these things, man. Right? You
And then
understand? Which is so
they
sad,
want
you
us to be
know?
happy. They want us to be happy and thank them for what they do. They don't want us to call them out for their wrongdoings. I'm happy that they're
But
going to
like I
make some
say, Mr.
settlement.
Chairman, I'll continue to do it until the day I die. Right?
Man,
And I'm not running or hiding.
I'm
They know
right here.
exactly where to come and find me.
So most people would tend to believe or would tend to say, well, at least when they get something, they don't may get nothing anyhow because they haven't gotten it before. So this guy is a good guy
Sad.
and he's trying to help them out and give them all this something. Mind you, the guy don't turn around and say, as far as he's concerned, there was no redundancy. Nobody got fired. There is no tribunal
Wow.
decision that is in effect that he, as the leader of government business, should be taken care of according to the award. Him, they pretend and they try to tell the rest of the people out there, and some of them believe it, that he try to
Of
save government
course.
money. He try to save
But to
government a
give it,
few pennies.
Miss,
Go
Mr.
ahead,
Chairman,
sir.
if I may,
Go ahead, sir.
he's trying to take away from the poor to give to the rich. Because who the hell does that money gonna go to Ashcraft?
Mm-hmm.
If that man could sign in one day $76 million to Ashcraft when he took office, with no
Mm-hmm.
question asked, right?
Uh,
$76 million of not PUP money, not UDP money, the taxpayers' money, right?
and right after that, he got another $90 million.
And not to mention after, yes. And
And he
yet,
got another
this man
25
is,
million after that. To
Mr.
seal the
Chairman,
deal.
yet
Mm-hmm.
this man is depriving the stevedores of an award that was awarded by the court, a measly $4.8 million, and still don't want to give it to them and bring it all the way down to 1 point some $1 million. God damn! And how the hell do that man sleep at night? Right? And yet he loved the Belizean people. He loved the poor people. Right? He loved this country. Right?
Before this year
That
is
man
up,
had to be ashamed myself, man.
uh,
Right?
so,
And yet,
Mr. Wade,
sadly, Mr. Chairman,
go
people
ahead, sir.
adore that guy. All the fanatics, the fanatics that dress up in a green, a blue shirt on election day or wherever they track them to. Right? You cannot say nothing bad about that guy to some people. Right? Sad, man. Real sad. We just got to keep calling his ass out, man. The same way we lobby for the minimum wage to $5. We wanted
Mhm.
$10. We were calling for $10. And with pain that man signed long after a measly added $1.70. Right? You see what I'm talking about? Did he had any pain signing $76 million to Ashcraft?
But
And when he
it take
did
back that
that, Mr.
lot,
Chairman, lo and behold,
uh,
cost of living went up
Ghana,
300% before he
everything,
signed that
everything.
measly $1.70, right, to the Belizean workers. They had really jacked up cost of living to 300%, Mr. Chairman.
How many
Sad.
times the gas price rise from then till now? And
And
every
with
time the
no
gas
end in
price
sight.
rise, he make more money.
Exactly, because he owns so many gas stations, Mr. Chairman, right?
Mhm. So, for all intents and purposes, like I always say, there's something that doesn't square. It's not. It doesn't add up. The man is boasting in the house, he and his minions, about all the good things that they have been doing and are planning
Oh
to
yeah.
do with the
Oh yeah.
new budget. because that's what's being discussed
yeah.
in the House right now. Then they discuss more about the past UEP negligence than about the present budget or what they're really going to do, because everything that they put on paper is only for show. That is track record so far.
Exactly.
Stay on
Exactly.
track.
Stay on track.
It's coming.
That's the big thing in the House
Keep
right now.
waiting. When the next general election get a little closer, we are seeing a lot of activities again.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
And people will
Nothing
fall for it
changed, Mr.
again.
Chairman.
But the bottom line is that if they can find money,
Bring the man.
give.
Go bring the man.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead, Mr. Chairman. Sorry,
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah. If they can find money to do all these different things, why can't they find money to pay the people their salary and then benefits?
Something we've been
It's all
talking
about
about for a
priority.
long time.
It's all about priority.
Exactly. We see it. We see it.
So do what's right. Find the money. If you have to go borrow it, like we always say, because that, every time I go to the house, it's about getting some money or dealing with some
Getting
money.
some money. Yeah. Yeah.
Find some money and pay the debts then to the people and these small people, and they can't afford to fight you.
Exactly.
You mean you're stifling while you make the other people then they have to run away with the pie?
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead,
if
sir.
I may. Mr. Chairman, if I may. I have some of my comrades, some ex-policemen, like I've said it before, and I call on this man to pay these retirees, man, some ex-BDF, right? That they are in for 2 years, they had retired and has not received their benefits, man. Huh? And what is the benefit, Mr. Chairman? What is the benefit? Huh? A measly, maybe $300 a month or $400. You understand what I'm saying?
No kind of money.
That's to show you the mindset of this man and his
No
government.
kind of money.
You know, these are the things, Mr. Chairman, that I talk about, and it hurts me, because, I am living among these people, right? And I see their frustration and I see their cries. You understand?
And
this man has no regards, Mr. Chairman. Man not show no love, right? No love at all. How does he expect these people to survive, Mr. Chairman? Right? How? Huh? Go ahead, Mr. Chairman.
So, thank you. So weird. The government has assets. Then they go on like they broke or they hard up the assets of the money. Okay? But they not necessarily have to have cash flow on hand. Just like how they could give all the people what they said and give 20,000 lots. They could give the stevedores them some lots too to make up the difference of the money what they. You don't have to chance them out of their money or out of where belong to them. Get something else in kind. Give the people something to replace the money where you say you don't have, or the reason why you be so hard up with them and try to disenfranchise them or chance them. Give the people in one half a acre, 1 acre, or 2 acre of land or whatever.
And you know they hurt none of them.
With the talk about Mr. Weird. With the talk about 100 people or maybe less.
About that? Yeah, about that. Or maybe maybe
200.
less.
Let's double that. I was just trying to use a quick number, but I would think that 100. Let's say we double that and make it 200. I don't think it's much more than 200.
No, it's not more than 200, Mr. Chairman.
So then give 20,000 lots, but they can't find 200 lots to give to these people in compensation or in defrayment of part of the money the way government say they don't have or they can't afford. They can't give them something else like one piece of land. But they don't deserve to have no kind of property. Other
Exactly.
people will get property, and other people will get the money or do what they want with it. Like when Mr. Hyde said, lot of people in the world, they born, grow up, live and die, and they don't get no assets or nothing. But the PUP government has given out 20,000 lots,
20,000 lots.
and they're about to give out another 10,000.
Yeah.
Are they not hearing what I'm saying? Or is what I'm saying not equitable
Yeah.
for them to actually give these people one piece of land each? Make them do what they want to do with it. Plant it, sell it, subdivide it, um, whatever they want to do with them piece of land.
Exactly.
That's their own
Exactly.
property. That's their inheritance. You can't get any money. Get in something else in that has value.
Yeah.
Just like we out another 10,000, you could find out another 10,000, 200 lots to give to them 200 people over the top about right now. Is the government that hard up that they can't see how to solve that issue?
Yeah.
Why are they not willing to solve it? Or why are they trying to
Yeah.
solve it the way they're trying to solve it on the backs of the poor people?
Exactly.
Because that's how Mr.
It's so
Britannia is
sad.
going at the table and apparently they try to negotiate. They have come to an agreement that they force down the people in throat, and because the people then realize that they come out at the dead end and they tell them stupidness, but there's no redundancy, so there's no money, and the money when they are getting an MBS account to as per what the law say, right? And be one ex gratia payment. In other words, like where they go, like he, Mr. Britannia, he try to get his government to be nice to these people and do them a favor. They say they take off the responsibility when he assume
Exactly.
on behalf of the country and meet the country's obligation. Every step of the way, the man have to be
Guys,
putting on a show, conflate, and lie and bamboozle. Enough of
Mr.
that.
Chairman,
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Mr.
Since you're
Chairman, I want to welcome Greg and welcome him to the show. And like I say, I want to ask the permission if I can leave because I have something I need to go take care of.
You're welcome.
Right? And I just wanted to make my appearance and make you know that I was thinking about you guys, right? And I did made my appearance and sorry that I have to like withdraw back right now.
That's all right. That's all right. No.
But
Weird.
we will reunite on Monday, God willing.
Yes, sir.
Right, Greg?
Mr. Weir.
All right, my brother. Thank you, guys, and keep up the good work. Keep up the good work, and like I say, it's always a pleasure to be in your all company. Okay, and to our viewers and listeners across this beautiful country and the diaspora and around the world, Mr. Roody Wade is at an undisclosed location, but I have to leave now. Thank you.
God bless you.
Good night, guys. Good night, guys.
Enjoy.
All right, man. All right.
God bless. Bye bye.
All right.
Yes, Greg.
Good night,
Mr.
to you,
Wade told me a
Mr.
little earlier that
Chairman.
good night, sir.
Yes. Very interesting topic. And to piggyback on what you were saying, let's not forget that we are dealing with a government who uses executive powers for his own use.
Mm-hmm.
As you rightfully said more than once on this platform, that when the government of Belize acquired reports back from Mr. Ashcroft, the Prime Minister stand up in the House and mentioned that he settled all what? All accounts. So if you are stating that you settle all accounts, the stevedores should have been a part of that settled account.
Mm-hmm. Why they try bamboozling now?
That is why he's trying to say there was no redundancy and they were never out of a job. because they were still working. But as I expressed to the people at home and abroad, the, the redundancy has to do with the loss of wages for moving the sugar down south. What that did is put the stevedores in a bind where they will have to wait longer to acquire any monetary gain. Because what happened then is they will have to wait a longer period for these container ships to come in, whereas when the sugar was being dealt with here in Belize, that was other monies that keep them on a
Busy.
flow and their pockets not empty. But we're dealing with a government who is a smart individual who sometimes tends to have memory lapse. I wonder how he would stand up in a court of law. Because what
He
he
would
has
probably tell the
done,
judge that the lines are coming after him and he don't want to hear what the judge have to say.
what he
That's
is
that's the
doing,
personality profile we're dealing with.
right, what he is doing is using executive power to say to the stevedore, you know what? Since I said that there was no redundancy and we were working, we, the government, acquired the port. So now you are working for us. So here's the deal. You will settle for what we are presenting, or you will end up with nothing, because let's not forget there was threat from the Prime Minister and also the Deputy Prime Minister. To be specific, the Deputy Prime Minister wanted to remind the stevedore that there is a road called the Coastal Road, which is to implement that we can move the cargo down south
And
because
therefore
there's a road
then you
which is
become
not
redundant
far away,
100%.
right? And likewise, the Prime Minister mentioned the same thing about the shipping company. Some of them want to go down south to unload their cargo. That is called verbatim legalized threat coming under color from the present government. Go ahead, sir.
So what happened is that what they were doing there was using all manner of skullduggery and treachery and to force these people to accept the prime minister's position. That is that, as he said, he have his position and his idea, and the other people have their position and their idea. So he didn't want to discuss nothing that relates to those two positions or those two ideas. He just want to tell them what he wants to tell them about the new CBO. He never even want to talk about the redundancy issue or the stevedores money that the court had already um, awarded. He don't want to deal with that. The guy is too damn arrogant. But he doesn't behave like that when he's dealing with Ashcroft or with any other, or with Portico or with any of the other issues.
The,
He's willing to
if I
bend
may,
over the governance. Go ahead, Greg. Go ahead.
if I may, Mr. Chairman, our Prime Minister has no integrity, because even when he has his
That's it. That's
signature
it.
on a document, he is
Greg, that's
still
it. That's the end of it. Greg, I'm teasing you now. That's the end of the show. We don't have to say nothing else. You're looking to the key word, integrity. If there's none there, then all of us are wasting our breath, because the man has none. His personal profile indicates that much. And he has been living up to that personal profile, which is why we have been able to tell him before you go where you going and what you try to do. And understand that those kind of mechanics. He not think that we should be able to do that. Know who he is, what he's about, how he thinks, how he behaves. He doesn't understand that there's a profile of him. But anyhow, let me not get too deep into that.
Well,
Let me finish up.
you
Let me
see
finish up
what
that.
he's trying to do, right? The man has his signature on the COI
Mm-hmm.
document,
Mm-hmm.
and he's still
And he's lying.
in denial. He's still in denial. But let me say this, it goes beyond that. Because if you recall, I said what he was trying to do, right? And he
Mm-hmm.
has reversed and trying to come with something new when he spoke about if they appeal, they will lose again because it's unconstitutional. They knew that from the start because we mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot have a COI to invest a private company and you want to know to what all foreign company they are selling sugars to because you want to know how much money they are making. You cannot do that.
But they knew that from the get go, Greg. They knew that from the get go that they were making a bastardized and illegal, unconstitutional SI. But they feel that because they have the power to make SIs and are empowered and have the right to make SIs, that just about any SI that they make would stand up in the court and be validated. And over, they keep getting those SIs stricken down. But they
I
don't care
don't
because
believe
why? They're on payroll. Whatever they do,
no,
if it work, it work. If it don't work, it no cost them a penny out of an pocket. It
it
costs
was
with the
never to
public.
work. It was not meant to work. It was meant to win election.
Mm-hmm.
All they wanted to
Something
do
when I could
was
hide behind.
stop
Mm-hmm.
the tire burning, have these people sit down and sign something with the promise of a COI with his signature,
Mm-hmm.
knowing damn well it is unconstitutional. After they win the election, they are thrown under the bus. They don't
Yep.
win the election, so they're not worried about it. And he's saying that point blank.
But that's how he operates.
Because the
The same thing he did
gentleman,
with Oceana, the same thing he did with the marijuana referendum, the same thing you do right now with the stevedores, the same thing he does with everybody. They want to negotiate the process all over, and they want to bully rig the process and mandate how this thing is going to get settled. And the
but
court had already ruled how the settlement was supposed to have been done. It was just a
right,
matter of implementing it.
right. Now with the COI and the cane farmers,
Mm-hmm.
the gentleman is smarter than him because the court ruled it was unconstitutional in certain parts. All they had to do was bypass those parts
But
and go back to the court with it. We
okay,
amend it and take
the
it back.
court did not rule unconstitutional on the whole thing, you know.
Only
Exactly what
some
you just
parts.
said, exactly what you just
Exactly.
said would have been the solution to that problem. A while back, I stipulated that and I pointed out they did not have to overreach and try to bullyrag the process. That is where they got themselves into trouble. And then they got caught up with a lawyer that was a bit faster than them on his feet. When Godfrey took the matter to court, he had already done his research and knew exactly where the strength of his case was. By the time the government lawyers then got a hold of Godfrey's submissions and try to figure out how they want to respond, they were behind the ball already at that point. Why? Because it is their same documents that Godfrey take and use against them.
Right. Right. But they knew it, like
They
I
could have
said.
won the
They
case,
just
like I said.
wanted
I've said that more than one time. They could have won
right.
that case just doing the right thing. But then
Exactly.
open up the door for Godfrey come
Exactly.
in there, and when Godfrey came in there with his side deal and distracting from the focus of because the focus of that case should have been about BSI abusing its fiduciary responsibility to those people that they're in business with. The cane farmers are in business with BSI, and BSI, ASR are ripping off the cane farmers because the cane farmers don't have nowhere to look into their books and to see what is valid and not valid as an expense to the operation. So they claim all kind of
But
expenses in order to reduce the number that will get shared out among the cane farmers then. When in fact, that shouldn't have to be. So the government have the
but
power to have been able to go in there and deal with that. But instead, they want to use one big hammer, one big maul, to knock down only 1 inch nail. And the court would not entertain it.
well, you know what the problem is? They are super majority, and
That's
they
the
will run
problem.
into the same problem with the constitution reform. They will
Well,
run into
we've
the
been telling them that.
exact
We've been telling them
problem.
that because they want to go ahead. They haven't done no real education so far. They will finish up whatever they have to do to clean up this thing because the time is running out, and they want to have this process completed before the election cycle and the next
Right.
election.
But you
So
know
what
why
will
I
happen?
said that?
Wait, let me finish this point. So for all intents and purposes, what's going to happen is that they will go through the motion, they will submit to cabinet because cabinet is going to demand that the prime minister is going to demand that they finish up whatever is it that they have and just be done with it. Because he not get no money again, no more money for another 2 years of educational process. And even if they have 41 or 42 more years like we had from independence till now, 42 more years, it is not likely that everybody will know any much more than they have known before. So the end result will be that they will still end up doing what they want with the end product being what they want. But in the meantime, like I said, I will hang the Constitution around their neck. And it is for them to figure out how to be able to make their moves and do their thing and not be ruled unconstitutional or not find themselves in a situation where, as I pointed out to the Prime Minister about 4 years ago, okay, that 3.5 years, not exactly 4 years, but uh, about 3.5 years ago, I pointed out to him that he is positioning himself to be the next person that will have to answer seditious charges. Then blow that off. That was like a little breeze over their head. It was intended as a shot above the bow for them to wake up and try and figure out the difference. And if they really want to go to that extent or in that direction, figure out how to get there safely. They were dismissive. And as an end result, they're having all this kind of haggling right now back and forward. And all they're going to do is just push something in front of your face when the time they run out. Just like with Puerto Rico too, and like with many other things that they still have in the wing. They'll just push something out there to complete the task or the process. And then later on, if they win the next election, then they can come back and modify that and renew it and fix it up and
But
whatever. But they can't
Mr.
get here.
Chairman,
They can't get from here to there.
but
Go
he
ahead,
has
sir.
started. He has started, and you can see where he has started.
Mm-hmm.
When you see him shuffling people around, especially that work for 20 years in the EPA,
Mm-hmm.
and you know they need that to make these agreements pass. The signal is loud and clear what is coming next. When we speak about constitution reform and bastardization of the constitution, and you've seen him implementing that there's a referendum up in the PCC Act, you know what he's trying to do, which is using his supermajority. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the reason why I said they will not succeed, because for the mere fact, the section number 5, item 22,
Mm-hmm.
where they want to leave that up to the House to have a referendum or not when national security falls under who? The
The
people.
people. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
But that's not how they
But
teach the people that stuff. Then teach the people that national security fall under the Minister of National Defense
no, it don't.
and the Foreign Minister.
No,
That's how
they
they
need
propagate
to.
the concept.
Well, the people need to look up the referendum act because it's specified. The first thing is anything that has to do with Guatemala.
Greg, have they
The
touched that
second thing
subject yet
is
in any other presentation that they have been making that you are aware
no,
of?
they have
Have you
not.
ever heard them bring up any part of the Constitution like that? Those are critical elements in the Constitution that they should be trying to educate the public about so that the public will know how Belize is going to be defended if and when they are called upon to defend free country in terms of what's right, what's wrong, how the process works, how we can get from
Let,
here to
let,
there.
right. Let me show you some gross mistakes that we have spoken about on this platform, and it has
Mhm,
come back to hurt them. Let's
mhm,
go back to SRBSI.
mhm.
We know that the government has the right to regulate laws in this country to protect private citizens from being abused by foreign investors, right?
We all know that,
We know that for a fact.
but that's not how they
But
behave.
the
Go
government
ahead. I'm
do
sorry.
not
I'm
have
sorry for interjecting.
the authority, no, you with me, to go outside of the laws that he needs to create to keep these companies intact. They went outside of it when they are trying to inquire, like the NPO bill, into private donors' affair and wants to know
Illegal.
who they are and how much they are donating, which is again unconstitutional, just like this
Uh,
law.
Greg, on that point,
Mm.
because you touch it, I just want to expand it a little bit. No, they do not report to anyone, and I'm talking about politicians now in terms of where they get their money or their source of revenue to conduct their political campaigns or their political party operations or whatever. Do you know that legally, there should be a law to have a check and balance on those situations because that's where money laundering and stealing of resources and the misuse of government assets and resources by political entities or manipulation of the economy of the country.
Mr.
But they don't want to be
Chairman,
caught up into that.
Mr. Chairman, if I
Mm,
may, a prime example, and I have called for it on more than one occasion, for them to pass campaign financing law. Because, as I said, they always tell on themselves, had they never reacquired the port and settled with Mr. Ashcroft, little and behold, with the lawsuit coming from the Feinstein Group, would
mhm.
we know that they were receiving
Money from the
campaign
Feinstein as well.
financing from those people? That is why the man wants to meet with him, because you are not giving this man the concession as you were going to do for
With Mr. Ashcroft.
Portico and what you did with Mr. Ashcroft.
Mhm.
Again, everything that we have said is backfiring. I have said it before. If you recall when they threw the teachers under the bus, before
Mhm.
the IMF said anything and they started to talk bad about the teachers, what did I say? I said the government are complaining that the teachers are not good enough, right? But look what they did. They claimed COVID-19 had put us back some years with the kids in school.
Which was
And
a
if
fact.
this is true, it is a
That's a
fact.
fact.
It is a fact. But then why would you come with
And
a
blame the
new
teachers.
curriculum that would take the teachers another 3 years to learn? So that is where the discrepancy comes in. Then you want to throw them under the bus.
But the throwing of the teachers under the bus was a matter of convenience to try and get some more money out of the IMF to justify
Exactly.
money
We know that.
into a budget to justify where we can
We
get
know
additional
that.
funds. Okay,
We know that because
but
I
they were not taking
mentioned
the blame that they as the government was misappropriating and misplacing the money in our Ashcroft Bank to settle for their all outstanding accounts, including the party accounts.
but
Okay.
you don't take long to see how they did it. They jumped on the bandwagon when the teachers did not meet with the IMF. You
Mm-hmm.
recall that? And they
Mm-hmm.
started to complain about some still not getting their increments and all that. And
Mm-hmm.
you see how they turn it around. The IMF said they're not getting their money worth. And then now that's the biggest part of their budget speech in the house. And that is to do what? Side with the IMF against the teachers, then you will get more funding. So they know what they're doing. Reverse psychology. You don't take one that long to see these games, you know? Because I
Bamboozlers,
can say this to
bamboozlers,
you.
bamboozlers.
I can say this to you. If you go to the government website right now and you
Mm-hmm.
try to get the new curriculum, I don't believe it is there. Because one was never even turned over to the opposition. Go ahead, Mr. Chairman.
Uh, they talk about the education funding and how many schools are going to be free. They need to get it done. That's part of government responsibility. The Constitution mandates, and in our preamble, we stipulate that we, the people of Belize, require policies of state so that the kids could get an adequate education. It's not a request, it's a mandate, it's a mandamus. We, the people, compel the government to provide on our behalf the policies of state in order to ensure and guarantee that we get these things out of our governance system. That's what we have a governance system for. So when they're not doing it, they need to be flagged. And when they're doing it, we need to commend them. And if they're not doing
Mr.
enough,
Chairman,
then we need to get on the boat as well. But they can't pretend that
Mr.
we have to
Chairman,
bend over and kiss them both and be so grateful to them for the half-baked management that they do. Go ahead, Greg.
it is ludicrous the way the government attacked the teachers. For you to get up in the house
Shameful,
and speak about
shameful.
education, education, and what all you will do, and all the new schools that will come, I need to ask the question, and I would love to ask them personally if I could have done it. If you are saying you don't have quality teachers right now, what type of education will these kids get in all that budget you are budgeting for new schools and to further education? Where will the quality teachers come from? Fool is talking, but not fool is listening. I would
Mhm.
want to hear the answer to that. Because the issue that we are having within the Ministry of Education is you have teachers, they implemented a new curriculum. I can
Mhm.
say this personally. And some of the teachers are having a problem doing their lesson plan. They are having a problem to do the teach lesson.
Greg, the teachers are not getting a full salary. They have not been compensated for the money that the government borrowed from them because, in my estimation, that was like the government taking a loan from the teachers. Remember that part of the Constitution that I read tonight about the government not about all of us being equal under the law, and that the government should not take anybody's salary, or people shouldn't have to be forced to work as in slavery days, and they are not given their salary that is due to them, and that the government can't arbitrarily and capriciously just come in and say, well, we deduct your salary 10%. That was an illegal and unconstitutional move. And the matter was not taken to court. Otherwise, the teachers, they would have win. Remember when that thing came up and we proposed that they should go to court on it?
Right.
Had they gone to court, they would have won. But again, even if they had won, the scofflaw individual that we have as part of our government or constituting our government could care less what any court says. As Mr. Britannia himself says, as regards to the biggest cane farmers union, he don't care when I say, so long as he can convince himself. By the way, that we try convincing when he said that, right? Like you said, I fool the talk, but I don't fool the listen, but that we try convince. When he say, so long as he can believe in his own mind that what he's doing is right, he don't care what nobody else say. And that's the problem we would deal with.
Well,
the man is too damn arrogant for the position where you occupy. Huh?
Sir, he have a problem there. Because
he's telling us. He's telling us.
He is bent on trying to get this COI to work. And ASRBSI is specifying that they will not go along with that. Period. So how will it work?
Okay. That is where ASRBSI is on their wrong foot. All they have to be done, all that has to be done with them, give them a little nudge or a little push and make them fall on a one accord. But the government is not tactically and strategically positioning itself to be able to do that. In fact, Mr. Britannia is have what we call heartburn, over the undigested encounter with BSI, ASR. Remember when he said, if he proceed the way the cane farmers they want, the government may get sued? How come he could understand and recognize when the government gets sued over something that the other people have not got the strength of litigation on their side, but the government does have it on the government side? How come he can recognize that in the opposite way of to say we shouldn't want the government to get sued? And I, as the Prime Minister in his case then talking, wouldn't want to expose the people's resource to such lawsuits or such situation and misspend the people their money. How the hell he couldn't come up with that and say the same thing with Jurassic recommendation to him and about the protocol issue and about going to the cabinet and lie to the cabinet members them? How he couldn't come up with that and deal with Mr. Ashcroft and force Mr. Ashcroft to go to court and validate his claims, when in fact Mr. Ashcroft never got no serious claims against the country except his personal belief that he wasn't dealt with adequately. The bottom line is that this man pick and choose when and why and for what reason and with whom he deal with. They act like a damn scoundrel. And that is what bothers me and why I keep calling him out. He needs to be consistent. Consistently bad is all right. Consistently good is all right. But you can't be lukewarm. And you can't just a chance to poorer people in our society and let the big money people and the business people get away all the time. That's a crime against the society.
Mr. Chairman, that will continue to happen. Because, as we rightfully said tonight, the opposition is in big trouble.
Mm-hmm.
They are in big trouble because they do not have big foreign investors that is given into campaign financing like the Blue House.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what he has. So they can afford to do what? Buy what? Vote.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
You understand then why when I say that I agree for my country? Because we cannot surmount these difficulties or get beyond these situations unless the people are in tune and are willing to spend the time and the effort necessary for them to position themselves and defend their own rights and look after their own well-being. Because the government that we have is not doing it for them and will not do it for them. And we as other individuals can't do it for the government or for all the rest of the people. So we are just continue suffering and suffering and suffering.
Right. But let
Imagine
me give
PUP
you a
call an election right
scenario.
now. Greg, imagine PUP call an election right now for general election early, right? Pull one barrow or pull one moose up and away, right? Imagine Mr. Bisenyo would try and pull one barrow or one moose up and away. He's not known to be that kind of that type of temperament. No, is he known to have that kind of political survey and even if somebody would advise him to do it, and that person might probably be correct, if he not get it enough in his own head, he will not react to it, and he would not probably derive the benefit of it. But were he to call that election right now, as it were, you know the UDP people when they come out and vote, some of them might come out and vote, but the UDP has not done its groundwork enough to get the massive amount of support that they have in the population
I
to really
believe,
win 16 seats right now.
I believe, Mr. Chairman, that the Prime Minister will not do that. I strongly believe that because this municipal election that they won, he won that scamming,
By default.
and all the scam is coming out. People did not know he was getting campaign finance from the Feinstein group that he's pressuring.
Mm-hmm.
Likewise, the Ashcroft, likewise, Maybe Portico. What would happen if
Greg,
the
quickly,
general election
quickly,
and
Greg, before I
time?
finish the thought,
Go ahead.
hold it. These people, the Feinsteins, the Ashcrofts, the political people, them, Gags, them, and all the other people, them, those people are just, and the people them where they hobnob with out of key there, we want to build a $200 million concern out of key chapel here right there. And then the other BPO people where they hobnob with and everybody else. All these guys are hobnobbing and getting close to him and dealing with him is about suborning him and all governance power so that they can make money.
Can
It's
get
not about
free
them putting any
concession.
money in for we government coffers to make we government manage for we affairs and help we progress and move forward.
They will
Okay?
give him campaign financing
All
and
the
they will
time.
get concession, major concession.
And the
That's
concession
what
will
it is.
always be 20 to 1 and a 50 to 1.
Mhm.
So the investment, when they invest in him and political operations, will
No,
always be less
let's
than
look
when they
at
get
it.
out.
Let's look at it vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
What if the young Mr. Barrow was to get on a plane and have Fat Joe and Dizzy and everybody start to bring in money? You know what the government would do to that to stop it?
And just
You
pass the
know
law.
what they would do?
Then just pass the law. Unexplained wealth.
You see? You
But
see?
then you see,
But
they will do that.
they're still
They can use that
receiving.
law now to suppress their opponents, but they wouldn't use that same
While
law
they're
against
still
themselves.
receiving. While they're still receiving.
Exactly.
It came out. You
That's why they
heard.
are never make a law. In I believe we are never have a law, at least not in the near future, that calls for accountability from the politicians and their political campaign financing process. Because you can choke off some of them and they won't go for it. That's why we
Well,
haven't had it so far.
you see what is happening to the Minister of Agriculture. Some private entity is blasting him like Ashcroft did to the PN,
Mm-hmm.
calling him out for all his thing with the
All
border.
these guys have skeletons. I tell you, Greg, I keep telling you guys that all these people have skeletons. That if we start to put them out there in the public, you know, we are waste people's time because most people that are supposed to be able to make the difference just don't care. Some of them are totally burnt out. They just don't care anymore. And the politicians love that. That's the reason why they run the game the way they run it. To get people in a kind of state of mind. Because then they can use you,
Right.
misuse you, and abuse you more.
And you know what? They're in denial because let me say this to you. Do you know that every time they get into the government, they come with the same promise of housing?
Hmm.
If you check from way back, they come with the same promises of housing and it never work out.
I
You
remember from
remember,
way back in the 1950s, Greg,
right?
how far back at the career now? In the 1950s, when the
Mm-hmm.
surprise used to get up the Cinderella there from the restaurant, and they tell the people them how you build up Cinderella tongue, because back then it wasn't as built up as it is today, obviously for obvious reasons. But back then, they just to follow up the place out of the sea, right? The mangrove area. And they plan to build so many houses and all of them I get. And the same thing when they did by uh, where the area where Madam where Mr. Senior Mr. Barrow the division where Senior Mr. Barrow
But
the come
no
out on.
day,
Huh?
out of but no day.
No
One
no
Mr.
no no
Barrow lives
no
along here.
no where you live right now. The division where Queen Square man. The same
Oh,
thing with
Queen
Queen
Square
Square. Queen Square was
and
filled up from the sea,
Back at
right?
Port fill up too.
Uh-huh. The
All
whole
along
other area
where
there.
the portsman yeah,
Hmm.
they pump that.
So these
But
guys they keep making promises, but right now in Belize City proper, as I asked the deputy prime minister, how much Southside Belizean have been given any lots or any homes like what Mr. Mala they say they give. He may get sweet up right now because he I'm one of the main one who oppose the Portugal deal, and the Portugal deal is on the back shelf ready to be brought back again. And then, so then they try see who all they could suborn or get in favor, so that they could bring this thing and pass it out of cabinet and get it moving. It's not about the country's well-being and best interests. It's about their own interests. The PM have interest in this thing, so therefore he can move hell and heaven and suborn the whole government system to
but
we
then
treasury.
then
He go in
Mr.
for we
Chairman,
treasury. He gone in there a few times before and he went in again, go try settle with Feinstein. And people
the
want just
question,
laugh and go along with the process.
Mr. Chairman, the
Yes, sir, go ahead.
question then becomes if he is saying he don't get involved in private entity, what is he doing in that? He is
Why did
heading
he
it.
go and negotiate? You know, they get the man saying not get
He
involved in
is
a private
heading
thing,
it,
right? But the man take over political discussion
which is a
with Geg
private
and the other
entity.
one, Geg and the other partners, them they have one discussion with the port people, because they have problem with Portugal getting permission to do certain things. So the prime minister jump in at the middle of that, and he go and negotiate on behalf of Geg and for his partner. How the hell does our prime minister, someone who always keep claiming that he no want to get involved in a private business, find himself negotiating on behalf of Portugal and trying to ram Portugal down the throat of the government's process and subordinating and disgracing for his one position as the prime minister? You go deal with them people in private affairs and force it to happen. Why? Because he try to tell you, oh, he's just trying to be nice to his people them because we need them. The whole fool this man to talk to. Does that man don't know? And as I keep telling her, everything when in discussion in our cabinet, I know if I must be directly now and tell her before I was talking to him in coded languages. The man know they get the point, so it look like I have to tell her in a plain words. I know when they discuss and when they talk, but that's why I could tell her where he want to go before it becomes news. Then they want to know, well, how the hell I tell them when they do before they do it, or like I didn't have in their head. I know they in their head. Then just careless with the information and the way how they operate. They are not sophisticated enough to keep their business away from the people where they think they're supposed to keep it away from. We, the Belizean people, the general public, the only way they know to tell what they do behind the doors, because if we know, then they are in trouble. But because we don't know, it's to be believed that other people don't know, and other people know every damn thing where they happen to Belize. It's been recorded. That's why people come in and Belize there and talk to them and suborn them, because other people in other Belize, they get the information from the people in other Belize. How you think them big real estate people come in at the country and overnight they want all them big tract of land? They have agents, real estate agents, who do all the legwork and the groundwork. So when they come in, they just come put on the final signature there for transfer international bank account money. But all the things are done by agents. So when I talk to them in a code and they tell them crap what they need to learn and know or be aware of, there are agents in our country where belong to. In fact, make I say, you have Cuban agents in Belize, you have Guatemalan agents in Belize, you have Mexican agents in Belize, you got Salvadorian agents in Belize, you got Nicaraguan agents in Belize, you have Venezuelan agents in Belize, you got United States agents in Belize, you have British agents in Belize, you got the KGB agents in Belize, you have European nations, many of them have their agents in Belize. All these people operate on information trading. They aggregate, they collect information and they trade information back and forward at certain level. Certain things they keep to their own self secretly. But even when they want to keep secretly to themselves, other people know as well. Because everybody, they know everybody else's business. The other day, this is our international one now, right? Like when we are international, then the Germans then got exposed for discussing certain things among themselves in their own cabinet meetings. And they got embarrassed to know that their meetings was being put out in public there. Then they try to blame the Soviets. They're not just the Soviets have spying in this world.
The same thing happened to Biden when he spoke about Netanyahu and the microsat.
There are agents all over this world, and they're serving some of them dual purposes or more than dual purposes. Some of them are serving many masters. Some of them are agents and some of them are counter agents. And there's a whole lot of crazy stuff going on out there in the bigger world that fully believes scenario is not adjusting itself to. And therefore we don't derive the benefits of those things. You can't even speak to any of these knucklehead fools back there and try give them all the heads up about nothing. Because then I'll be the very same one where I put your butt on the line. But anyhow.
But again, as I said, I look at the budget thing, and I see the attack on the teachers, but I will say this to say that when they are speaking about education, and quality education, they need to really come with some trained teachers if they are claiming the present one is not doing that. Because the way how the teaching system works is you have a yearly plan.
Okay, Greg, before you get into that detail, Greg, before you get into that detail, which is good public information, just make a comment on quickly now, because do you think that these okay, do you think that the people at our Belize Education Department and the Minister of Education ever try to tell the people from the IMF who come to do this analysis, to determine whether or not they agree to give the government any money, if the government want money or whatever? Because they do that on a regular basis. But do you think that any of we education department people speak to these people and try and explain to them that they may cut the teachers their salary and that they may have COVID and all the other rest of stuff there where uh, that's been going on. You think they explain all of that? But yet these people know all of that. So it's not for them to go and speak on that as a point of order when they present the news conference and say, well, the government was wrong for taking away these people in salary at a time when the economy was also kind of stagnant, and therefore there wasn't that amount of money circulating in order for the economy to have been able to stay afloat, and therefore don't get into the situation where you're getting right now. They contributed to that. Mr. Bishop and his policies contributed to that. He suppressed and oppressed the economy at a time when the economy needed one lead win at the back. That's why he could get up there and say, no, if it wasn't because of the people from the diaspora, we may have been in a hell of a worse situation. He get up and acknowledge that. But he doesn't follow through and do what needs to be done in order to further that cause, get that to operate bigger, bring more resources into the country, and develop the country further. No, the only one thing where they could put their finger in and benefit from personally. You know, most people that I know come to me and complain about business situation in Belize and about the tax situation in Belize, and and they want to know why. Why is it like that? Why does it have to be like that? That people have to hustle them even before they even put down their foot and develop their business. You have to pay before you get to start play. And it's becoming endemic in all the different government departments now. Any services you want to the government, you can get it done for a fee. Or you could wait until never worry and don't get it. But again, yield back to you, Greg.
Right.
Thank you for giving me the
That's
chance to make
right.
that
That
small
is
comment there just
true.
now. No?
That is true. But as I was
Enchanted.
saying, when it comes to teaching and teaching profession, there's a yearly plan. The teachers go by the yearly plan. Then they make a lesson plan from that. And then they have to do a unit plan, which is each lesson. And teacher has to be familiarized with this because every day they must write their teach lesson in that unit plan. And as I
But you
said,
started changing the
there
whole
might
curriculum.
be no one. There might be no one from ministry going to check these schools because every teacher is supposed to have that unit plan and their desk. So when someone who is inspecting comes in from ministry,
They go see
they
where
can go
they
straight
are
to that teacher.
in terms of the school year progress. But Greg,
Exactly.
another thing that the government, if the government and the Minister of Education were smart enough in their presentation to the IMF, because the IMF they know a bunch of foolish people. They not just come to you, a few country come make you tell them where they think you want here, and they will react to that. They have their own agents and their own personnel that runs around the country annually all over the place. They gather information for them. And they study for we statistical institute information and analyze them and compare them with other countries and things like that. So if we government them is smart, we government officials, they may explain to them people and point out to them people that yes, we're in the middle of changing over with curriculum. So that alone, without COVID or without any other issue, would have take one while for the teachers and transcend the old style and way of teaching and the old material to the new material when they have to learn now before they could actually go teach it and develop the skills necessary.
Well,
You know,
to be honest,
go
the
ahead. No,
issue
can I
with
close off
the
the thought?
past curriculum,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
the issue with the past curriculum was it had too much in the yearly plan, and teachers could not teach all the subjects. They had to be jumping from one to the other, or if they try to finish one, they run out of time. So they had to cut down on the curriculum. But it is the same thing. Yearly plan, lesson plan, unit plan, which is their each lesson. And to familiarize with it, it takes at least 3 years for teachers to to get up to that standard.
And the point that I was trying to drive at just now if when I was saying that if we government people and smart, then I point out to the IMF, part of the reason why some of the kids are falling back to is because the economy is so messed up. Then parents not have jobs, some of them. Sometimes they used to have two people to work in a family or three people. Now they only have one, and sometimes none. So the kids then come to school unprepared to come and learn. They're not adequately taken care of or cared for to provide a learning environment. Or even if the teachers they were the best teachers in the world, and you have hungry belly kids, they come to school, they might not focus on lesson. They might not focus on the belly where they grow and when they feel hungry and the survival needs and how to be able to find something to eat. Or they get distracted. The best of students sometimes go up and down in terms of the learning abilities or the retention or the interest in a certain subject or certain things. But when you have a population of 68% poverty in your society, that's a major catastrophic issue that needs to be acknowledged up front, dealt with, and remedied. Then going to make such a presentation to the IMF, and that's what the IMF exists for, to provide support. They want to get some money out of the IMF quicker and try blame the teachers them as being incompetent and not doing good enough or a good enough job. How do you think some of we students that believe they pass 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 CXCs? Those are the ones who are well catered for and who have the correct environment at home and who are able to put their capabilities. Because in Belize, I said this again, Greg, just today we may have a discussion with some people about it. In Belize, we have intelligent people. We don't necessarily have now educational or highly educated people like we used to have a few decades ago. I remember when these used to have, I think it was 90-something% literacy. Almost everybody born, grew up, and live in Belize had a certain level of competence and literacy. Now, the kids then spend most of the time when they're supposed to do extra homework or extra learning or whatever. Well, at least we used to go and do sports and other things too. But now the kids are spending time on the internet. Now, of course, they learn some things on the internet, so don't get me wrong. Right? They learn how to
a
research,
part
how
of
to
the
find
issue,
information, a lot of good things.
a
Sorry, go
part
ahead,
of
sir.
the issue too that is helping to cause that issue is the teachers don't have quality control in the classroom. And you can't have that when you have some wayward kids. It's not any of these kids you can see
And kids nowadays and cuss out
because
the
you
teacher,
speak to some of them and you know what happens.
yeah.
You
And
know?
then they cuss out the teachers there, and then when they go home, then the parents come with them and they come cuss the teachers again to themselves. We never used to have any kind of situation in the few days. I mean, we were
Right.
lucky,
They are lacking the basic fundamental skills that they should acquire from home.
but it's
As I
unfair
once
for
said
them to
to
blame the
someone,
teachers, though. It's much bigger than
as I
teachers.
once said to someone, the smartest individuals are the one who goes to church. When you were young, you go to church, go to Sunday school. You
Mhm.
read the Bible about the disciple and Christ. It helps you to
Motivational,
maintain true
positive
story.
motivation.
Right. You remember what was called the four horsemen?
Uh-huh.
That was always the key to education. The what, when, who, and where. That is
Uh,
what had educated
Greg,
most of us. But we are
uh,
at that
we are
time
34 right
for
now.
you to do
So
the closing.
no, go ahead. Go ahead. You had something that you want to play. Let's go to 40, Let's take the next 6 minutes, next five minutes, and go to 40. But if you had something we want to play, and then we could make a short comment for close out on that, no?
No,
Maybe
no, I
left
don't
on
have
half a
much.
minute for your music.
I don't, just for the closing.
Okay, go ahead.
Just for the closing. But there's a lot to say, and I hope that, people will see through things differently. because they will get, as the saying goes, what you see is what you get.
Mhm.
And there will be no changes if you like what you get. Stay on track.
Well, nothing wrong for stay up on track for the one where they survive and where they succeed and where they benefit. You know, I mean, why wouldn't they want to stay on track if everything is rosy for them? But too
Because
much of the
the other one
population
no
is
one
under the
get
water.
on track. One will stay on track because the other one no one get on track. And if the other one can't get on track, hey, let's stay on track.
Sorry. But anyhow, do your closing then, no? Go ahead with your closing, Greg.
Good night to Belizean people at home and abroad. Thank you for tuning into this 119th episode of Belizean Affairs. Hopefully, us here on this platform are passing on to you all some form of information to educate you and upfront things that is happening in our country. I want to thank all who have tuned in, and hopefully you will keep tuning into us on our program every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. With that said, we came to the end of our program. Have a great night.
Ancestors them get glory. After war and fight for this land.